Ooh, hello everybody and welcome. This is your immortal AFROMEGA, Josh. I know it's been a while, and I'll take these off right now. Running some tests, making sure everything's working, everything's loud and clear. We are streaming to multiple places, and I want to make sure they are operational and functional. So we got YouTube, looks like it's good. X, formerly known as Twitter, looks like it's good. Rumble, which I believe is good. I hope it is. And YouTube. So we got a few things to look at today. And just to try to get back on track, I haven't posted on this channel in forever and a day. But there's good reason for that. I just wasn't sure if it was for me. A couple of things I wanted to go over, make sure I actually wanted to keep doing this because, like the state of politics can really kill your drive to do anything, especially when it doesn't look like it's getting any better. But there's a lot to talk about, and I do think it's getting better. Trying to get rid of the doomer attitude. But in the meantime, folks, we got with my banners here. If you looked at the title, we have three topics I'd like to kind of go over in varying levels of detail. Some of which are funny, some of which are sad, and the whole shebang. But starting off, we got Bill Burr and his inability to keep his woman in check. I'm sure you guys have heard about it. It's been all over the internet for the past couple of days, ever since the latest UFC fight happened. Our main man of the hour, man of the country, our true president, the Don himself, Donald Trump, was in attendance. And of course, you know what that means. Somebody has to show their ass, and not in a good way. I have a clip here that kind of encapsulates everything that it's really unfortunate. Let me change my audio. Got it coming out of my TV. Turtle Beach. There we go. Pull this up right here. Share screen. There we go. So what we got here is it took it right on the right frame too. So Trump is in attendance, feeling good. He came in with Tucker Carlson, I think Kid Rock. I didn't follow too much like who else was with him, his entourage, but I knew it was Tucker Carlson, who's like, everyone seems to like since he hopped on X. Coming in, enjoying himself. Yeah, in the back. Which is unfortunate because as much as you hear in like in the culture when it comes to women, black women specifically, they always are associated with an attitude. And I know there's a lot of good black women out there that would like to not be associated with that all the time, but it's kind of hard to do when every time you see a black woman and there's an opportunity for them to show their best, the worst comes out. And this is the case for every race. It's really hard to not bring up the fact that this is just people, but it's always elevated to a higher degree when black people are involved, especially women. And it's unfortunate because I like Bill Burr. He's probably one of the few very funny comedians that are still out there that doesn't often, he still does, but doesn't often choke on the whole woke ideology nonsense. But he's still funny at the end of the day. Like, he can believe in whatever he wants, that's fine, but he's still funny, which is supposed to be the main thing with the main man Bill Burr. But I never really understood the appeal of his wife. Like, he can date whoever he wants, marry whoever he wants. But the thing that makes it ironic is that for a long chunk of his career, he always kind of, made fun of or poked fun at the idea of getting married. And even back then, I thought it was strange. It's like, hey, how did you get married, dude? And then not only did you get married, you got married to her. I didn't know nothing. No, I didn't know that much about him, but I was like, hey, man, whatever floats your boat, cool, whatever. But as time goes on, the more I learned about her, the more I'm just like, this seems like the type of woman he of all people would go out of his way to avoid. That's what I thought anyway. But here we are, and there's been some like contention. People are saying, "Oh, she's just flipping off the camera." Like, no, come on, dude. It's so popular to hate Donald Trump. He's just he's the main villain in so many people's eyes that they got to have a villain in their story to legitimize their uh, terrible behavior. This in particular being a good example of that. So Donald Trump, he's coming in, sit down, and everyone in the crowd loves him. Donald Trump, despite what the media and all that says, tries to paint this man out as to be like the worst of the worst, terrible person, no good, very bad, blah blah blah. But we all love him. He's the only candidate that I can think of that's even worth giving thought to outside of DeSantis and Ramaswamy. But ultimately, it's Trump. It's Trump or bust. The rest of these guys really don't exist. The only reason I said the names of the other two is because they have the most noise outside of Trump attached to the name, which better than nothing. But I don't know her name. It's Nia something. But you see out here, I got a couple of tabs open with Twitter, and there's been a few clips. One in particular that I thought was pretty funny. This guy right here, I don't know who he is, but he seems to be a pretty good impersonator. And what he says sounds like what Bill Burr would say to his wife had he had seen her, because in the clip, Bill Burr doesn't appear to notice his wife flipping off Trump. So that guy, he's pretty funny. Tyler Fisher, I have to check him out. But the issue here is when it comes to, and this is something I kind of want to dig deeper into because it's a problem on a cultural scale, specifically in the Black community, but it has the potential to expand beyond that, and that's not something we want. We want to keep it condensed and like destroy it here so that it doesn't become commonplace for other cultures that will bring about the destruction of the country. But particularly women, when it comes to their attitudes in the West, especially in the Black community, because as we all know, the Black community is largely a matriarchy. There's very little control from men when it comes to how their children are raised, let alone how the culture is um, focused, the direction it's supposed to be steering in. And one of the most prolific voices in that community was Kevin Samuels. He unfortunately passed away. But in the short time that he was around, he made really great uh, efforts in trying to redirect the Black community in the right direction so that we're not always the butt end of a joke, which is going to come up in the next segment. We're going to talk about good old fashioned Memphis. But there's always this air when it comes to the Black community that's really hard for us to shake because of how prevalent things like crime and single motherhood and deadbeat dad culture is so ingrained. It's hard to escape from it. It's hard to get away from it because on the one hand, you have to deal with the outside world, interacting with the outside world, but on the other, you are also fighting the battle within your culture, because if you want to be a Black competent person, you not only have to fight the regular fight everyone else has to fight in the outside world, just as far as like surviving and thriving and doing what you got to do, but you also got to fight within your own community, because they'll see that as what, you think you're better than us, or you think you're too good for Black women, blah blah blah. It's like, look, man, it's going to come to a point to where I don't have a choice. Like, I can't stay here and continue to feed into the appearance of black people that is accepted amongst niggas. Chris Rock had a really good comedy segment where he said there's a very specific difference between black people and niggas. And I think most competent black people understand this easily, no problem. I mean, even some white people, but we can't expect everyone else to get on the same page with it because of how defensive the black community is, specifically women. So that's a segment I have to talk about in depth, in more depth. But just sticking with Bill Burr, it's unfortunate, ironic, and a little funny that his wife is pretty much the bane of everything he's built his career off of talking shit about or making fun of. It's really sad because, like I said, I like Bill Burr. He's a really cool, really funny comedian. Seems like a pretty cool guy in real life. But as most people have noticed, over time, his content or his craft has slowly been waning, likely due to him trying not to upset his wife for whatever reason. And it's really hard to respect a man who allows a woman to take that much influence over what he does, especially when he has made a killing off of doing that exact same thing, dunking on feminists, making fun of the double standard that women have when it comes to what they're allowed to get away with and what men aren't allowed to get away with. As as well versed and articulate as he is when it comes to that in comedy, because comedians are very sharp, they're really fast. You can never really catch a comedian on their back foot. But for him to, like go from there to this, it's like, it's sad, man. You hate to see it. You hate to see it. But on to like the next unfortunate thing. Another blue city and another blue DA. I'm sure you guys are familiar with Steve Mulroy. Hold on, let me pull up an image of him right quick. He is the current district attorney of Memphis, Tennessee. And I've had the pleasure of meeting him in person. Not meeting him directly, but he came by to the city and said his little thing of what he's gonna do, what the game plan is, and all that good whatnot. And of course, right off the bat, because he's a not Republican, because he's a Democrat, I don't trust him right off the bat. But at the same time, you don't want to be too dismissive from the jump. And unfortunately, a lot of the things he said, a lot of the things he does, his mannerisms, his talking points, are very emblematic of the current Democratic Party, which kind of means that Memphis isn't going to get any better anytime soon. He has a soft on crime approach, which is a calling card of most leftist district attorneys, likely bankrolled by Soros, as most people are kind of suspicious of. Whether or not he is, I think it's irrelevant because at this point, to be a Democrat is to carry out the very things that destroy most major blue cities, that most blue cities are suffering from. And it sucks. It's unfortunate. But here he is right here. Mr. Steve Moore. Well, not that one. I forgot. Let me remove that. I'm using a Brave browser, which is a little bit different from Firefox. So there are more options for Brave when it comes to sharing tabs. Okay, so here we got right here, Steve Mulroy, our brand new district attorney of Memphis, Tennessee. And as I said before, a lot of his talking points are that of your typical Democratic district attorney, which pretty much means he's going to be soft on crime, soft on this, not big on that, going to go out of his way to be passive when it comes to tackling major issues like crime, specifically juvenile crime in the Memphis area, because Memphis is like, I don't know if it's the biggest, but it's either the first or second biggest city in Tennessee. Definitely very densely populated, very blue, very left leaning, and rife with all the issues you'd expect from any major blue city, such as crime, juvenile delinquency, robberies, theft, homicides, all that good shit. So if we come over here, I'm gonna figure out how to do the share screen a little bit better, but bear with me for the time being. I'm still learning StreamYard. So there's been a few clips coming out of Memphis that are, it's embarrassing, unfortunate to watch, but it's the reality. Some of these streets I know very well. Here we have a corner store, and this is something relatively new. Mob robbery. And you only get to this position when you are so comfortable with getting away with something like robbery to the point to where you don't have to worry about any type of retribution. You won't be arrested, or if you are, you'll be out the next day. Another thing that Steve Mulroy is pretty clear on, or not clear, but alludes to. I'll say that because they never say the stupid shit out loud. They try to hide it behind the political speak, talking points that don't really go anywhere, that don't really generate any real results for making the city better. But like I said, here we got several young adults, probably no older than 20, 21, fresh out of high school with nothing to do, no future prospects except robbing, looting, and just being an overall nuisance for any and everyone involved, unfortunately, within the vicinity. And you'll see, memes and jokes all day, like, "Oh, they're just stealing food for their children. They're just they can't make it out here. Inflation has stuff too high. Blah 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 blah." And the silly thing about all this is that not too long ago in the state of Chicago, Walmart closed down, I think, a number of their stores. I don't know if it was a number of their stores or one of their biggest super centers. And immediately following that, residents of Chicago started complaining about, hey, there's no food here, blah, 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 blah. And of course, it all circled back to racism. You don't want to have your store here because you are racist and you blah, 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 the usual shit. But the ironic thing about anyone who knows anything, who has any level of common sense, understands that as a business owner, if a city that you currently have, I don't know if you guys can hear the train. Hopefully you don't. If a city has a storefront set up there that is constantly being robbed, constantly becoming a financial burden to the store owners in any major capacity, what do you think they're going to do? They're not going to keep it stocked. They're not going to keep putting money into a vat of acid and just burning it away. They're going to pull out. They're going to take their shit, pack up, call it a loss, take their losses and leave. They're not going to continue to waste money, time and resources keeping an establishment open only for it to lose money, constantly being robbed, damaged or vandalized. So just like in Chicago, the same is going to happen to Memphis, which I kind of predicted back when the whole thing with Chicago was happening. They're going to come into town. They're going to rob the hell out of all these establishments. People are going to stop putting up businesses there, which means no one in the area is going to be able to work or make any money in this current Bidenomics economy where inflation is rising, the prices of everything like food and everything is skyrocketing, and there's nothing left. Law enforcement is acting as if their hands are tied behind their backs because of the DA constantly allowing a revolving door of petty criminals getting away with stupid shit over the course of several months, meaning nothing gets better here. Cars are still going to get broken into, stores are still going to get looted and robbed and damaged and vandalized, and eventually we're just going to be left with a bunch of vacant buildings with for the homeless to start moving in and dropping the property value down even further. It's a continuous cycle that most, if not all, Democrats, whether they're mayors or district attorneys or whatever, constantly create. Now, that's not to say that Republicans are just miles better, but when you compare the top worst Democrat cities to the top worst Republican cities, you'll see that list, when combined, there's a severe gap in who's running a city better than the other. So this is kind of what you come to expect when it comes to anyone left of red, unfortunately, because and then that only adds to like the I don't like to call it a conspiracy theory because it really doesn't feel like it. But for lack of a better term, conspiracy theory is as to how these guys keep getting elected in these positions. They're bankrolled by special interest groups who obviously want the same thing, destruction of the country. And they'll start with every big city. And the issue is with these bigger cities, they're usually surrounded by smaller towns and cities who unfortunately have that type of bullshit trickle down to them. So there's been talks about getting Steve Mulroy impeached or something, fired, because he has expressed statements in the past since he became the DA of Memphis about how he doesn't necessarily. Sabil, what's going on, man? Long time no see. I know it's been a while. I know it has been. How you been, man? I'm still here. But yeah, I'm talking about Memphis and our current district attorney and how it's pretty much going to be the typical downward trend for a major blue city whenever they get like a leftist mayor or a leftist district attorney who's light on crime, who allows the revolving door. You know what's going on. So you still got a post. Glad to know that. Yeah, yeah. Like I decided to switch things up as far as like streaming. I'm streaming on Streamlabs now. First, I was streaming from OBS, but this is infinitely better by all metrics. So if you wanted to like see if I was still alive, I still got my gaming channel, Mortal Afro Gaming. That's where I kind of do all my testing and stuff, and where I'm mostly active. But slowly wanted to make my way back into talking politics, because when a lot of shit was just going sideways, I was just like, man, like Republicans ain't shit. Democrats are already fucking worthless. So I'm at the point where I'm just like, fuck it, third party, dude. These guys suck. The whole thing with the impeachment hearing with McCarthy, all the money we're just throwing to fucking Ukraine and now Israel. Whew, I'm over it. Like I'm over it. But I also, want to get back into talking about it, because not saying shit isn't helping. And, why the fuck not? Pardon my French. But yeah, like I said, I got a clip here. The city of Memphis being, any place needed, making noodles, beer, all that good shit. But my thing is, okay, so we see this happening, all that or whatever, but what's the solution? What's something that most people can really get behind that'll put an end to most of this? It's all good. I'm over here in Phoenix area. Just came from Claremore, Oklahoma. I'm telling you, it's pretty normal, but I'm telling you, it's still pretty normal out this way. Yeah, hopefully we can maintain that, man, because this ain't it. These major cities, man, they're a real problem for a lot of surrounding areas, because typically these concrete jungles are usually exclusively blue, Democrat controlled, and they spread slowly from the main source, and it sucks. We don't like it. I hate it. I hate it with a passion. But it's more a question of like, how do we contain this? How do we stop it from spreading like that? Because there's such thing as being overwhelmed. Your local police, law enforcement can't deal with an onslaught of freaking barbarians from the major city that's being run by complete idiots and hypocrites from invading and stuff. I think us folks who want good might have to relocate west of the Mississippi. Yeah, but that's the thing, man. I don't want to move, because when you move, you just give up that much more ground for them to control. It sucks, but it's got to come to a point. You can't run forever. Eventually, you're gonna run out of places to go. You shouldn't be letting these fucking heathens chase you out of your home anyway, especially if you've spent your life there. Like your family spent their life there building up whatever, assuming that's that's something that some people can relate with. But yeah, dude, like it's really it really sucks. And of course, the immediate answer I could think of could get me kicked off the platform, but I really do genuinely believe most people would think the same. Even Donald Trump has expressed it. It's like, hey man, if you loot, I get to shoot. Because the thing that most people don't realize is all this robbing and stuff affects people's livelihoods. Yes, you're not killing them directly, but you are burdening them with more stress, which can lead to death, um, major inconvenience, and they have to make life changing decisions that really hit them financially. Like if you spent God knows how much money you spent working your ass off to save in order to put up for your own business or whatever loans you're taking out that you got to pay back, you put up all this energy and effort to increase the value of your life, not only your life, but the lives around people in your area by creating work and providing services to that area to overall uplift the community, only to have it taken from you by a bunch of freaking worthless people who have no optics in life, no optics whatsoever. And it's really aggravating, and it's getting to a point to where I can't see the average person just taking it anymore, because it's like you're not going to force me to move, and you're not going to force me to sit here and just get robbed to death, especially when we have people in the White House ruining everything, both foreign and domestic, thus increasing my cost of living. And it's like, dude, like it's you're eventually gonna press the wrong amount of people to a point to where they're just gonna take it into their own hands. Because if law enforcement's not gonna do anything, letting mobs of 10, 20, 30, 40 people just roll up in the store and pick it clean, I gotta do something. I can't just keep playing this game, because at the end of the day, I'm getting taxed out the ass by the government, and I'm getting robbed out the ass by these uh people who have no future, who decide to have no future. Something's got to come to a head, man. Of course, like most people, I don't want it to end in violence, but sometimes violence is the answer. Like, just saying. Nobody wants to admit it, but it's true. You're not going to keep playing this back and forth with people, because you're messing with people's livelihoods. And if these people are so careless with their lives that they're willing to risk it all for a bag of chips or a case of Modelo's, then who's going to miss them besides Democrats? But just to kind of bring it, just bring it back to here. It's really frustrating. Let's see. You up on that who peace treaty? Redacted channel went to death yesterday. Don't have a crystal ball, but I think we're gonna have to dig in where we fit in. You have to update me on that. I'm not sure what that is. Who peace treaty? You mean World Health Organization? Because over some COVID stuff or something else. Yeah, that's new to me. I haven't heard about that. I've been kind of spotty with coming in, like learning certain things about what's going on. But since this is pretty much close to home, this whole shit with Steve Mulroy and the job we expected him to do when it came to being the district attorney for the city, is like, well, either we got to figure out how to get him out of here, or we got to, get him out of here. Because I don't think any of us like him like that. I think there was another clip that I wanted to go over. That was that. That was the same one. Yeah. Let's go down this thread. Should definitely follow this X handle, Twitter handle, in wokeness or clown world, both of them. And there's a lot of people saying all the things that people believe. It's like it's true. Yes, sir. World Health Organization. Oh yeah. Okay. I think all right. If that's what you're talking about, yeah, fuck them. YouTube is the only social media platform you chat on. Yes, yes, dude, that's gotta change, because originally, about a week ago, when Steve Crowder dropped the whole thing with the Nashville, um that Nashville shooter, the tranny shooter, I was gonna do a whole live stream on that the following day, but the same day, YouTube started pulling, and this is the same for Facebook as well. They started pulling other channels down talking about it. I was like, you see, I knew that was gonna happen, because that was something they didn't want to get out. I had a thumbnail, all that shit. And I was like, man, I had a whole thesis. I'm gonna stream on YouTube and Rumble and stuff. But as soon as channels started getting pulled down, I was like, you see, that's what happens when you get kind of like passive. Because like I already got a Rumble channel, but I'm really slow with like migrating fully over to Rumble as far as making content. So I am streaming on Rumble right now. Rumble guys, hey, what's going on? I'm trying to make it like more consistent over here because Rumble actually gives a shit about free speech. But I highly recommend that, dude. Like, if you can get off of YouTube, you can still watch YouTube, but if you want to see like a fair, balanced, when it comes to like different perspectives and opinions, get on Rumble, dude. Because right now, I think Rumble is pretty much at the top of the alt media list. There's Odyssey and BitChute. I haven't checked on them in a while. I think Odyssey is pretty good, but Rumble, as of right now, I think is the top dog as far as an alternative to YouTube. And a lot of political commentators that got booted off of YouTube are on Rumble, where they're more open, more free about what they talk about. Because the problem with YouTube is that you got to tiptoe, and I don't really want to do that. That's annoying. But have you heard of do I listen to Hotep Jesus? I heard of him. I don't think I've listened to. I'm pretty sure I've heard clips and stuff from him, but I couldn't tell you if I listened to him specifically. Let me move this down here. They probably had guns and stuff. And the funny thing is, hold on, let me see what this guy's saying.
To change that narrative. We're talking about 1% of
Hold on.
our population that is terrorizing our whole city. We have to change that narrative. We need people to understand who we are as Memphians, are people that love our city, that have a culture, a character, a vibe that's unmistakable. And those are the things that should be defining who we are, not the negative incidents that we've seen take place.
Not the negative incidents that we see on a day-to-day basis, 24/7, backed up by all of media everywhere. See, like I said before, do I have an email for social Discord? You mean like regular Discord? Because I do have a Discord channel that I barely use. I had it. I still have it. It's still active, but I just haven't actively been on it. I don't know if it's something I should use for political discussion because Discord, the Discord, I'll say, community is pretty left, as well as the people who run Discord anyway. So it's like, I don't know, but I do have a Discord channel. But as far as this guy's saying, I was saying it earlier. If the black community wants to have any chance of like getting their shit together and being taken seriously on the world stage in any capacity, we really have to like dismantle anything about as far as dismantle the concept of the matriarchy, which is the black community currently is. Oh, did you want to hop in this live stream, or did you want to like talk privately? Because with StreamYard, I could send you an invite to this live stream, and you can join live. We can talk about it. That's one of the other cool things I like about StreamYard since I kind of like learned about it. I meant to say free discussion. Yeah, we can. Yeah, but it's up to you whether you want to do it on live on here or privately on something like Discord or an alternative you may have. Let's see, but I can send you a Discord invite. Let me see if that's something you're familiar with, because you'd be surprised how many people have no idea what Discord is, and I envy them. Invite. I think I could put it all in the chat. There you go. That's a link to the Discord channel, AFROMEGA base. If you'd like to hop in there and talk, chat it up. I've never been up on a live stream at work. Definitely want to talk to you. Okay. Yeah, if you wanna, yeah, just follow that link to the Discord. I still have it, and you can hop in there. We could talk whenever, man. We can talk about certain topics or stuff I should go over, videos and all that good stuff. I'd love to chop it up with you because I know you've been subscribed to my channel for like since I got it up and open, and me slawing out, not streaming on a consistent basis or making videos. Sorry about that, but life costs money, and I don't make money doing this, not yet. If I start making like some good income doing this, I'll probably be more consistent. But I got two jobs and they got to be worked because I got cars and car notes and shit to pay off. But yeah, just say the word. Let's see. I guess we pretty much good on this topic. I don't want to be a super long stream because I got a gaming stream to do later tonight too. Some things to talk about, and another reason why I've really been pushing my gaming channel. Let me move this up some. There you go. The reason why my gaming channel has been a little bit more active is because on the cultural aspect, gaming has kind of reached a point where it's very influential, and of course, it's run by leftist feminist tards or whatever. But it is one of the few mediums that have a really significant amount of punching power to really push back on the culture. Because luckily for us, these people are so inept, stupid, and so hell bent on pushing propaganda that they've ruined the industry to the point to where it's hard to even enjoy playing games anymore. For example, Spider-Man 2. That game is bereft with tons of propaganda, a bunch of nonsense, and these people keep attacking the IPs that are specifically, geared towards male audiences. And when you turn them off, they're eventually going to find something else to do. And new forms of entertainment and media is going to come up as a result. That vacuum. For example, Eric D. July's Rippaverse, and he is pretty much pioneering what is important, what should happen, I think, full stop across the entirety of the entertainment industry. Say download the app. Awesome. Yeah, it's free. You should be able to hop in there, and I'll show you how the app works and everything, so you don't get too confused with it because it took me a while because I just didn't use it for the longest until I started setting up channels or whatever. But at least as far as the in the gaming space goes, there is an opportunity to really push for uh, a new culture that's invested in bringing about a better future for our country. Because it's not just a war in politics; it's a war pretty much everywhere. In education, uh, entertainment, politics. Like it's a fight on every front. It's a culture war on every front. And unfortunately, the most conservatives or people on the right just aren't really, they're not that engaged in fighting the culture. There's a few exceptions, of course, but we need more. We need more people in mass to do it. I think you need to take the lead attorney's YouTube course. Just a suggestion. You're too intelligent not to have a broader outreach. Yeah, part of it just comes from me not posting. If I posted consistently since I started this channel, I'm pretty sure I would have had like well over 100,000 consistent viewers and subscribers. But because I come from a a different cut where I'm like a 9 to 5 is how I make money. I don't make money on the internet. Like that mentality is really hard to shake if you're not used to it. Like I'm not at that youthful age where it's like, oh yeah, this is what I want to do. Like I'm doing this late. I'm old. 33 years old. Old. Not too old, but kind of at that like breakaway point to where I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of stuck in my ways. I'm used to just working. Yeah, I get like the pep to do something and start it, and then I'm like, all right, I need to go back to work. I need to make some money and take care of what's going on right now. But like I said, man, thanks for sticking with me. But I'll check that out. The lead attorney, I like him. I need to watch more of his content. But as far as like growing, I am trying to get as far on different platforms. I set up a Spotify. I want to do a podcast specifically for politics. I have one set up for on my gaming channel, and I want to get one set up for my political channel because there's a lot to talk about, and it's really easy to just kind of fall off and stop caring because you got your own life to deal with. But I freed up enough time. I'm getting my jobs to where I could work less and get paid more, or more or less the same, so I can have more time to do stuff like this. But let's go ahead and move on to our final topic, which is Xi Jinping. I don't know how to say this man's name, and the Gavin's ability to clean up the streets of San Francisco overnight for uh, for his boss. I'll say that because that's what it seems like. A lot of these guys are like secretly co-signing for. So as you guys can see, there you go.
Sad they got to put up barricades.
There we go.
Here we are, downtown San Francisco.
Downtown
As you can
Sandy.
see, they got it blocked off. I'm not a big fan of these barricades. Sad our country's not safe enough. Sad they got to put up barricades.
Well,
Can only imagine how the economy are.
and that's the funny thing about Democrats, and we all know this. This isn't news, but walls are racist, barricades are blah blah blah. Open borders is the way to go forward. Tolerance, acceptance, all that bullshit until it's inconvenient. Borders don't work until we need them to do shit like this. And ironically, this shit looks a lot like China because I'm pretty sure their streets and stuff are clean thanks to supreme totalitarian government rule. And the irony in all this is that just like this guy says down here, imagine cleaning up a collapsed city for a dictator that used asymmetrical warfare and treason to destroy it. Some jokes write themselves. But here we are, clean as probably the cleanest San Francisco's ever been, ever in the history of this city's existence. You'll do that, you'll break your neck to do all this shit for Jing, whatever his name is, G. I'll just call him G. I don't know how to say his fucking name. But you'll go ape shit to do that for him. And when it comes to stuff like that, you'll clean it up. You'll do all this, like all the stuff that people have been demanding you do for the longest time. You'll only do when it's convenient for you, and it's unfortunate because the city of San Francisco, as much as I like to rag on California, I think it is just the worst place ever. Never been there. Don't ever want to go there for under any circumstances. Even if there's like, Josh, there's $1 million opportunity for you there. I can't deal with it, man. I can barely deal with the homeless people in my city. I don't want to see what a San Francisco homeless person. Ugh, I'm good, bro. There's some things I just don't want to. I don't even want to experience it because I can't. I don't think I'll be able to handle it. I did security for 1 year in downtown Memphis, and shit was going fine until like the last 2 months. The last 2 months of doing security was a huge test of my like mental fortitude because dealing with homeless people and yet on that level, it's very difficult. I can see why that job is for some. I can see why police have to be a certain way. You can't just be a regular guy being a police officer or a security guard because these people will try you and murder is illegal. So I'm gonna just leave it at that. Not the best, not the best time. Easiest job in the world, would never do it again. But of course, as you can see, San Francisco clean overnight. And the government's ability to clean up on this scale this quickly, I find very interesting because California, I believe this. I don't know like the numbers, but they generate a lot of money. Like it's a really financially bankrolled city, state, whatever you want to call it. And when it comes to money, they got it. They good. So it's not an issue of whether or not they can afford to do it. They can. They just choose not to. And maybe it's because so many of the residents there are out of touch with how politics are run, or they agree, whichever one it is. Either one is bad. But we have a case where the government is clearly working different from the city, how the city would prefer it to be run. It's unfortunate, but un- not unusual, I guess. So this is one of those things where, of course, if you're in case you're curious, Team Trump all day long. None of these other politicians exist to me. But I think the more important fight for most people that we need to understand is that it's local. You have to get involved in your local elections and really hold those people up to the fire. Like with us with Steve Mulroy, I really do hope on some level that residents are a little more wary about his ability to do his job, because the whole thing with having all these people running around robbing stores, it starts there. Yeah, say what you want, have your opinions about the president, but the president can only do so much, and he's already on the other side of the country from you. The more important thing for us is to like focus on a local level, get the shit hammered out here at home. Because if we're dealing with cheating, fraudulent elections, we can't sit here and wait for the government to find evidence. Because if they're in on it, they ain't gonna find shit. Yeah, they're part of the problem. And there was a clip from uh Matt Wallace. I think that's his name. I know his name. Now that I'm on stream, I can't think of it. I want to make sure. I think it's Matt Wallace. Matt Walsh. That was close. Matt Walsh. Vivek Ramaswamy recently mentioned about cutting the government, funding or whatever employees in half. And while that sounds like a good start, I like Ramaswamy, but I just like him only because he says what he likes. I don't trust him. I don't trust him for shit. Not yet. I like him, just don't fucking trust him. Trump, I like and I trust to a degree, mainly because he's the most consistent person I've seen enter politics. Of course, I didn't give a shit about politics until after he got involved, but that told enough about me. Is like I'm not paying attention to this stuff. It's pretty messed up. But fortunately, he's a larger than life personality that managed to get more people into politics before than ever. I'd like to think. But yeah, Vivek Ramaswamy mentioned something about cutting the federal government in half, which sounds good. I'm all for that. Cool, let's do it. Matt Walsh was like, "Yeah, you need to cut that shit by like 90," because I think that's legit. I think that's a good idea. If Elon Musk taught us anything, is that there is a significant amount of bloat. Whoop. There's a significant amount of bloat plaguing a lot of these positions that we supposedly need to rely on, and we don't need to. There's a lot of money being wasted there because we have all this money going into it, but nothing is coming out. Nothing is nothing is getting better as a result. There he is. Hold on one second, y'all. Add. Hold on one second. All right. But yeah, it's like the way Elon Musk pretty much cleaned up Twitter by firing 85% of the staff who are essentially there doing jack shit. The same, I think, can be done and said for our federal government. There's a lot of money that we're just pumping, printing, pushing, and all we're doing is funding wars all over the world and being made a fool of. Like the American taxpayer is getting fucked harder than any other group of people in the world, and it's getting to a point where I'm starting to think that our only purpose, as far as Americans, that yeah, we seem like we get all this cool stuff, but our only purpose, seemingly, is to pay for shit, pay for shit to happen around the world, as messed up as it is. But I think I have reached my hour. I sure have. But I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up here, folks. I'm gonna try to get like an hour long episode or show, so to speak, out every couple of days a week, maybe 3. Like I said, I still have my regular day jobs, and setting up a schedule around those days that are continuously changing, they're not really the same, is a little complicated. But I do want to score at least 3 hour-long live streams a week on the political channel, talking about the shit that's going on, and hopefully get to the bottom, or at least just discuss it in a way that's productive and useful for the country. Because I do want America to be great. I do want to make America great again, better than before. But it's gonna require a lot more than just talking on a camera. So, but gotta start somewhere. But anyway, folks, I am your Immortal Afro Josh. You are watching Immortal Afro Mega. And if you want to follow any content as far as gaming, let me move this out the way. Gaming, I have a secondary channel, Immortal Afro Gaming, where I will be doing the same thing, a couple of streams every week, likely on the same day. And we're fighting a good fight for the culture war in the gaming category. But with that being said, I'm your Immortal Afro Josh. You're watching Immortal Afro Mega, where we will make America great again. Yes, we do have the illusion of freedom. Yes, we do. Hey, if you want to go ahead and get on that call, I'm going to go ahead and shut down the stream and meet you over there on the Discord. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good one. Bye-bye now.